Hey everyone, I'm Retro Inactive, and I would like to introduce you to a series ranking the Halo series missions. Most people have played Halo, but not many have beaten it on the hardest difficulty. And no, I'm not talking about Legendary, but LASO, aka Legendary All Skulls On. This game mode is typically not for the faint of heart, as the extra skulls make the game much more difficult in every single way possible. Machinima would probably refer to it as Dark Souls with guns, and while our first game in this series is definitely easier than Dark Souls, it is still a tall task to get through. Bring your friends, please. While I've only just plowed through these missions, you'll now be trusting me as the arbiter of truth with these opinions of mine, although I'm sure many will share the same sentiment. Also, bear in mind I'm going to be taking glitches and skips that can be used for these missions into account, as it's LASO and you need all the help you can get. This is Halo Reach's LASO missions ranked from easiest to hardest. With that said, let's jump into the easiest mission. For obvious reasons, we're excluding Lone Wolf from this list, so we're starting with the incredibly easy Nightfall. If you have beaten a LASO mission, it's almost certainly this one. There's a reason people can finish this mission in 3 minutes. Literally, just go Google Halo LASO speedrun. This one will pop up. With one large fight sequence able to be completely skipped and another skipped with a glitch with the forklift, this mission turns into a joke. That coupled with the fact that it is a stealth mission, and it becomes the easiest by far. Without either of those two skips, it could easily have been the most difficult map. Imagine wasting your time trying to kill 2 hunters in this one. Oof. Not necessarily following suit of Halo 2 or Halo 3, the first mission of Reach is most certainly one of the easiest. Majority of the beginning part of this mission can be run past, and the others aren't particularly impossible. It's definitely more helpful that you have several invincible allies on solo, but it's not impossible with friends either. Once you know what you're doing, you really have to fight through just about 2 hordes of enemies, as you can just sit in the back corner waiting for Cat to close the door. The hardest part comes at the end, but you can use good old George to beat the Sword Elite down and plasma pistol the other elites on your way to victory. I'm not meaning to go in chronological order, but Sword Base follows Winter Contingency up next. By far the hardest part of this mission is from the beginning, where there are a plethora of enemies. Once you make it past there, you have an option to steal yourself a Wraith, which will make the second phase of this mission much more bearable. After this, you are then gifted a Gauss Hog, which is another gift from the Halo gods. If you finagle your way to using that hog to kill the hunters, you can get past the remainder of this mission with an easy glitch, straight to the Banshees and Phantom. If you didn't get that Wraith or Gauss, it will make the mission tremendously harder, but if you spend the time to do both, this mission can be quite the breeze. Quite possibly the worst mission because of the Blind Skull, but is not a very difficult one if you really know where you're going. In this mission, you will really only need to leave your Falcon 3 times, one of which you can just run past drones, and another you can just use the DJ Brute Easter egg to help yourself out tremendously. Of course, the hospital is just an incredibly large pain, unless you feel like trying to get a Banshee inside the building, which if you're like me, being impatient, you're probably going to have a rough time in that area at least. While that part can be difficult, most of the flying parts are rather easy, and your biggest foe on this map will be the lack of direction. Seriously, 343, replace the Blind Skull with the Malfunction Skull in Halo Infinite. Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes the Blind Skull. This mission starts you off fighting against a couple of ghosts and several rocket grunts, along with a beam rifle jackal. That can be a not very good time, but if you're resilient enough, you can get inside your Scorpion and plow your way through all those smaller enemies. It can still be a tough time with all the rocket turrets, though. The mission doesn't get much better, as you need to go through several jackals and skirmishers, and then a large amount of invisible elites. Of course, the easiest way of getting to that point is using a ghost to run past the previous section. At least the firefight section can be cheesed by hijacking a banshee and then stealing a wraith as well. But if you don't know how to do that and try to hold out on Halsey's door, this would definitely be a very, very difficult LASO mission. There is a reason your allies tell you to try and steal a banshee though, so I mean, you kind of should do that. This mission gives you huge advantages if you play solo, mainly giving you a DMR and only one elite at the top of the end of the spire. But starting this with an assault rifle and a grenade launcher is not a good time, believe me. The large bright side is you can cheese the big Covenant guns by shooting them with your warthogs, as you don't actually need to go inside to blow them up. That doesn't help you much with the hunters, although the Reaper can, but there is a reason Eric referred to it as an autistic wraith. Nobody likes rail flying sections, and this one is pretty awful. Make sure you hit every single enemy ASAP or you are going to die. Co-op also does not help the final part, that's for sure. The very silver lining is you can run straight up to the spire. It's fairly easy once you get to the top on solo, as you basically just need to melee one elite. But if you're in co-op, there are now 3 elites up there instead. Side note, I don't know if it'd be helpful at all, but you can also steal a banshee here. I really, truly wanted to put this mission higher, as it's just an absolute pain. The first mission that introduces brutes just as you are getting good at assassinating elites. This mission loves starting you off with horrible guns and no ammo from the get-go. Of course, the real pain comes with getting to the launch pad with a rocket-wielding brute who has a special hard-on for murdering you. You could follow Halo Completionist's guide here and try and melee him, or you can be impatient and get boned like me. If you're smart and save a rocket, a Marine can show you who the real Noble 6 is for the next section, but the ending can still be a pain running to the final launch button. Or you could do it in co-op and time your button pushing so that more enemies don't come in. Just what a great mission the final one in Reach is. It's got everything you can ask for, and well, that usually comes with a decent amount of difficulty. If you're lucky and can get a sick assassination, you can skedaddle onto the Mongoose run, which is not so bad. The next section can also be partially skipped, which is nice as well. Stuff gets really difficult, however, once you get to the section prior to the hunters. But hopefully you're good enough at meleeing elites this late in the run. Jump through a window if you want to avoid the hunters, and you can arrive in the by far hardest part of this map, and it will leave you eagerly awaiting Key's death in CE for leaving you on Reach. The ending of this ups the ante and gives you 3 badass elites to take out, which was possibly one of the most entertaining parts of the run. Naturally, it finishes off with an annoyingly large amount of phantoms, which you'll want to destroy their turrets and say goodbye to Chief. This mission is LASO at its most rewarding. Is it really surprising that the mission where you pilot a spaceship is the hardest? If you don't cheese it, it can be a very large pain, but if you don't try and kill any ships, it will take ages to get past. If you're lucky enough to get past that part, you're in for a very fun ride with several elites in your way. The worst one of note being the beam rifle elites that make you want to reach into your screen to strangle the man who put them on this map. The path there doesn't get literally at all easier, but you're the idiot who boarded a Covenant ship, so you're the idiot who's going to bash through every elite on the ship while George nuzzles up to a nuke or something. The control room at least allows you the opportunity to take out several elites before alerting everyone. It's sad to see George go, but let's be honest, you'll be happy once this mission is over. If you've made it to this point, I hope nothing stops you from beating Halo Reach on LASO. Reach was a fantastic LASO, and as opposed to CE or 2, it's a LASO I could see myself casually enjoying in the future. Well everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you gain the same enjoyment out of LASO as I do, and give it a whirl yourself. If you feel like seeing the rankings of other games, feel free to hang around. Be sure to dislike, unsubscribe, and I will not see you in the next one.